Start with the stems first. Thread up with the thick, like silk thread on a size 8-inch chenille needle. You can also use a thin green wool for the stems. Lay the like silk on top of the fabric. Thread up with 1 strand of green stranded cotton and couch the stem in place every 1 or 2 centimeters. Angle the needle under the thread and insert back into the same hole for a neat finish. Do the same for all the stems, stitching over the roses in places. The rose is made on top later. Keep a loose tension on the thick thread. Start with the leaves and use 1 strand of green stranded cotton. Make a knot at the long end. Start at the tip of the leaf and make a long lazy daisy. Use buttonhole stitch, angling the stitches towards the base of the leaf every time. Pull the thread quite taut for a neat edge. Insert the needle to the back at the rounded base of the leaf. Start at the sharp tip again. Fill in the remaining half of the leaf. Go back and fill in the empty spaces with straight or stab stitch, angling the stitches downwards towards the rounded base. Stitch over any skew stitches if necessary to tidy up the leaf. Note how I insert the thick stem back into the fabric with a chenille needle. There is no wire along the edge of these leaves. The only wire is used along the central vein of the leaf. Use long and short buttonhole stitch as you did before. Form each of the leaves, filling in the spaces to neaten. End off the thread at the back. Cut a short length of 28 gauge wire. There is no need to strip the plastic off the wire. Thread up with 1 strand of green stranded cotton and attach the wire along the central vein. Leave a 2 or 3 centimeter stem that will be inserted in the fabric on the main design. To prevent the wire from being pulled out by mistake, insert the wire into the leaf 2 or 3 millimeters from the tip. Bend back on the wrong side and attach in place with overcast stitches. Use an anti-fray agent along the edge. Remove the tape. Wait for it to dry. Cut out the shape roughly, then cut along the edge. If necessary, use a green fabric marker to color in the edge. Use anti-fray agent again and your fingers to bend the leaf in shape. Make a hole in the design at the base of the leaf. Insert wire to the back. Bend the wire backwards, holding it in place. Use one strand of green thread and tiny stab stitches to anchor the wire to the background. To prevent the leaf from moving around too much, use tiny stab stitches along the one edge. Use the 13 mm silk ribbon on the 16 chenille needle and a ribbon stitch to make each petal. Hold the stitch as the ribbon is pulled to the back. An extra stitch can be made to overlap the other for a fuller rose. Note how the needle is twisted from side to side to pull the needle to the back. Thread up with the gold and yellow thread and make tiny straight or stab stitches about 3 mm in length on the inside edge of the ribbon petals. Work from the center out. These stitches anchor the ribbon to the background and prevent the stitches from pulling out of shape. Fill the center with French knots in one strand of the same golden thread. 1 or 2 wraps so the knots are not too big. The yellow center of any flower always adds the final touch and results in a lifelike flower. Be careful to use a golden yellow thread, as few flowers have a very bright yellow center. Finally, add the pink shadows on the tips of the petals. Thread up with one strand of pink thread. Whenever you are making a petal of a flower that needs a more defined edge, use a blanket or buttonhole stitch, as shown. Insert the needle to the back once the petal is shaded. Bring the needle up again for the adjoining petal. Keep a gentle tension throughout. Note how only the extra petal that was made on top of the other is embroidered, leaving the bottom one to recede in the background.